Hey, it's Weed. Here's a video about how to fill out your training log correctly. Please watch this, take notes, and internalize it into the essence of your being. So, information, how to fill out your training log correctly, and this also has an overall impact on your grade. You will notice throughout there are a couple of T-Nation memes because I like T-Nation and it makes me feel good. That's why they're here. So this is for the training log for PHED 1164 and how to fill it out following the directions that I made. It's not your directions, they're my directions. So not to sound difficult, but I have certain expectations and it is your job to meet them to the best of your ability. If you have questions, ask me. So the first thing that you want to do in the upper right hand corner, you will see that when you get your training log, is you want to add your name in pen, hopefully. If not, then use pencil. But everyone has the same training log. They all look the same. And when you lose it and you want a new one, it's going to cost you some points. Next, you want to recognize what are the training parameters. So this it would be for the first cycle. We start with one set and we're going to 3 sets of 10 total reps for our required exercises usually. Some of the other exercises you can do for more repetitions or greater amounts of time. So we are training based on a plan that I have. When you are at the gym and doing your own training, you can train however you want to. We're not doing pyramids, we're not doing drop sets. We are keeping the same weight for the number of reps, and then once we achieve that, then we're going to look for a little bit of progressive overload. Also, you will notice that we're starting off with 10 total exercises, and that will change for cycle 2 and cycle 3. But that's 10 separate exercises. That's not doing 3 sets on one exercise. There's 3 doing 3, 3, and 1. That's 10 sets. We're doing 10 total exercises. So yes, when we are up to 10 exercises, you're going to be doing at least 30 sets of exercises during that time. So you got to grip it and rip it and get through quickly. The next item that you want to do in the upper right hand corner, okay, not upper right hand corner, but on the right side of your sheet, you will see an area that says the required training for cycle 1, 2, or 3. So that's every day. Once you learn these, you need to do them. So we're going to start off with a loaded carry on day 1. And that is a category of exercises. You will see right here that there are specific names. If you're not sure what the name of it is, then please let me know. Trust me, if you write loaded carry, I don't know what that means. So you want to be specific with the name. An example, and I have this on the sheet, EB stands for elastic band and SB stands for stability ball. So we have a loaded carry, some sort of deadlift, which I'm going to assess, some sort of pressing or push, some sort of pull-up, you'll find out more about that, a stability ball, and an elastic band. Now if you count this, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 required exercises every day once we get to that point. That means at some point you're going to have to come up with 4 other exercises. They can fall into the same category or they can be totally unique. That is up to you. That is your decision. The next item that many students find challenging is writing down the actual name of the exercise. So you're going to record the name of the exercise 1 time. So on day 1, you want to record the specific name of the loaded carry that you do. You might do 2 and you can write both of those down. But once you write the name of the exercise, you're never going to write it again down here lower for another day. And I'll explain how that works. So remember, write the specific name of the exercise. If you don't know what that is, please let me know. I do not know every exercise that is known to humanity. So you might do an exercise that I've never heard of before. Have you ever heard of a Zercher squat? Yeah, most people haven't, but it's an exercise. I don't recommend you doing it, but you certainly may when we get to cycle 3 or 2 or 1. So this is the part that, again, that confuses people. So I wrote in deadlift here. So say the first day of training is 2-2, February 2nd. The next day is February 4th. It doesn't matter what day it is. Don't write the actual day, whether that's fall, spring or some summer session. So you're going to write the name, and it's better if you use the numeric version of that. So in the United States, generally we write the month and then the day. In other parts of the world, they write the day and then the month. It doesn't matter, just be consistent with what you do. So what you would do is for the deadlift, you do your deadlift exercise on this day, and you write the sets, reps, and resistance, or the color of the band, or the time, or your body weight that you use on that day. If you refer back to a couple of slides, remember I said we're starting with one set of 10 and then going to 3 sets of 10. If you do not get the full set and reps, that's fine. You write down what you actually do. You will lose points if you write the same set and rep the entire time across. That means you're just making up numbers. Look, I did 1,000 sets of 1,000 repetitions at 1,000 pounds for the deadlift. Just because I wrote it doesn't mean that it happened. So be authentic, be honest, and write what you do. You don't lose points for that. That's the typical behavior. You don't always get your sets and reps, but you're striving to achieve that, and then you work on progressive overload. This meme makes me laugh, but that's what a lot of people try to do. So here's a professional tip. It says, very rarely, if ever, for the required lift, should you have the same training parameter and resistance or time for the entire training cycle. That would be 8 sessions. So there's an incorrect example. Notice this right here. Kettlebell deadlift. So KB represents kettlebell, not cattle, kettle. So this individual, the entire time, wrote the same numbers, and number 1, that's either false, or number 2, once you get to 3 sets of 10 at 25, you should have 30 here. And if you write 3 sets of 10 at 30, then that should be 35, and then 40, and then 45, and then 50. Usually that's not a typical progression. This is more typical. So here's a kettlebell deadlift. 2 sets of 10 at 25, 1 set of 7 at 25. And if you want to, you could make one giant slash here and put 25 after that. The next day, they're not feeling good. I don't know. They got one set of 9, 1 set of 8, 1 set of 7. Then on the 3rd day of training, they got 3 sets of 10. So the next time, they moved up to 30, keeping the same technique, doing the exact same exercise, and they do 1 set of 10 at 30, 1 set of 7 at 30, and 1 set of 6 at 30. You don't lose points. That's the way training should look. The next day, notice it changes a little bit. That 3rd set, for whatever reason, they were smoked. They only got 4 repetitions. And then the 6th day, 2 sets of 10, 1 set of 7. If there's another day, which there would be because there's 8, maybe they got 3 sets of 10 at 30. The next time they move up to 35. That's the progression that you want. That's how you should do it. So please follow directions. And what we're looking for is something called progressive overload, which means that we make a greater challenge on ourselves each time that we train. So that's how we know that we're getting stronger. 3 sets of 10 at 25 moves to 1 set of something, 1 set of something, 1 set of something else at 30. So here are some examples and some names. So I mentioned the category is a loaded carry. So day 1 of cycle 1, you're going to learn one of these different types. And you're going to have a chance to experiment with those. So for this is a little bit unique. You're just going to write the set and the resistance. So if you did a rack walk, you write 2 sets at 40 pounds. If you did a waiter walk with the bell up, which makes it more challenging, you do 1 set of 20. So here's the pro tip. So when you're moving forward, you get your 3 sets at 40. The next time, go up to 45 or 50, depending on how you are doing that. It's okay that you don't get 3 complete sets out of that. Maybe you had to put the weight down gently and lovingly early, and then you had to, struggle to get it back. That's fine. That's you getting stronger. So you want to constantly challenge yourself. That's how you get stronger. Remember, if you're using kettlebells, return to the rack correctly, weight facing out, close together. So eventually you're going to learn a deadlift, and I'm going to assess that. I'll give you some sort of number for that. So some examples are an RDL, which is a Romanian deadlift, the kettlebell deadlift, the traditional deadlift, whether that's overhand or mixed grip. You can do a sumo deadlift. You can do a single leg deadlift. There's all kinds of different, there's a split deadlift. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that, but you can do it. So here's an example for a kettlebell deadlift. 2 sets of 10 at 30. So we're still working up towards that 3 sets, but you did 2 sets of 10. Here's another example. 1 set of 10 at 30 for an RDL, 1 set of 8, 1 set of 5. So the pro tip, remember, avoid giving up your back, which you are more than willing to do to get more weight or more distance. Good technique. Chest out, shoulders back, pits to hips. Activate your lats. So drive your shoulders down. That activates your lats, and your scapular are back, your shoulder blades are back. And then heels together, knees out, and squeeze your glutes at the top. And remember, when you move up weight, yeah, it's going to feel heavier. That's again, you getting stronger. So some different examples of pressing or a push are listed there. And here are some examples of doing this. So if you're doing the tricep push down, you get 3 sets of 10 at 65. Next time, move it up to 70 or 75. So again, the pro tip, maintain good technique, progress the weight after successfully meeting the parameters. And again, it's going to feel heavier. For the category for the pull-up, you can do a pull-up, what I call overhand. You can do a chin-up underhand. You can do a supine row super band. You can use the assisted pull-up machine. You can use a neutral grip. There are some other ones. You can do archer pull-ups. Notice a lat pull-down is not a pull-up. So example, how you write this would be 1 set of 8 at body weight, 1 set of 3. For the super band pull-up, you're going to include the color of the band. Remember, that's a giant rubber band, so be safe. For the assisted pull-up, that's the counterweight. So when you get your 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 8 or 4 sets of 6, the weight actually decreases instead of increasing versus everything else. So the pro tip, progress. So if you are light and you can do your 3 sets of 10, grab a 5-pound dumbbell, pinch it between your knees, and then use that and add 5 to that. Or use a smaller elastic band, or decrease the counterweight so you're moving it up the stack and slide the half stack over. And remember, there's an inverse relationship between your body weight and your ability to do pull-ups. But if you are consistent 2 times a week for your academic session, you will get better at those. Another category, you're going to learn a bunch of stability ball exercises. You write SB, the name of that. These are some different names that you'll learn. Walkout, prone knee tuck, prone skier, hip bridge, supine leg curl. There's many, many more. Notice we never did a crunch on the ball, so I don't expect you to do that. That makes my eyes want to bleed. So the prone skier, 1 set of 10, and then the stability ball walkout. Here's the first one where we have time. So we're going to write SEC for seconds. And we want to have good quality for those 10 seconds. Remember, the pro tip, if you want to progress, that is wide to narrow to 1 point of contact. Yes, it will feel unstable. The elastic band. Remember, we're going to write EB. There's a number of different exercises. Please don't do elastic band bicep curls. That's just too easy and it makes my head hurt. So you can see some different items that are right here. If you don't know the color of the elastic band, neither do I. But there is a list of progression for the elastic bands. So the pro tip is to progress the size of the band or a wider setup. So if you're doing something that you're standing on it, set your feet wider apart. It's going to make it more challenging because you have less slack. And yes, it's going to feel harder to move. Work that eccentric contraction. Here is some advice, especially for those of you who are on social media significantly. Don't get bent out of shape and take criticism from people you would never go to for advice. So if you think about the ratemyprofessor.com ratings that you might give me or other people, it really doesn't mean that much because we're probably not going to seek your advice on certain things. Or if you know someone who's very critical of you and you really don't respect their opinion, that's fine. I am here to help you. That's why we're going to have eventually the daily check-in. And whether you would not come to me for advice or not, I'm going to try to help you be the best that you can be in PHED 1164, free of charge. Okay, you had to pay for the class, but there's no additional charge for that. So here is an example that is good and bad for this person. So we can see what's going on here. They completed 11 exercises every day. And notice they only wrote the name of this down. So this would be our third cycle because the Turkish get-up is written right here. They're not completing 4 sets on the farmer's walk, so that's not good, right? Here's that specific name. They did 3 at 140, 3 at 150. And then here, this might have been a max out day. I don't know. Then they had 3 at 227. Notice every set is not 4 by 6. Some are less than 6 repetitions, which is acceptable. So here, for their assisted pull-up, notice they did 3 sets of 6 at whatever that is, and then 1 set of 5 at whatever that is. That's a 40. And then here, eventually they got 4 sets of 6 at 50. Look what they did. They followed directions. They went to 4, 6 at 40, so they had a great day of pulling there. Notice up here they're not doing 4 sets of 6 for Turkish get-up. That's okay. So again, they are working to achieve that full, here they had 30, now they're at 32.5, so you can see that. Notice on 8/12 and 8/13, right here, those 2 days, I initialed that, and that's what I'm going to do for the daily check-in, these other 2 days, for whatever reason they did. And this student was very conscientious, and they did a very good job. So they scored maximum points. Here is the rubric if you want to see how to maximize your points. And remember, this class is not bodybuilding 101, powerlifting 101, Olympic lifting 101, CrossFit 101, etc. And this is the second to last slide. We don't use the terrible triad of cardio, thankfully, but this kind of irritates me when I see them at the gym. And so you want to take care of the training log ultimately, because you're going to turn that in, and that is going to be worth points to you. You want to complete all the required exercises. This is part of 25% of your overall grade. Complete the minimum number of exercises. You can always do more. Demonstrate progressive overload. Write legibly. And then use the specific name of the exercise. Again, if you're uncertain, ask. So you can write DB for dumbbell, EB for elastic band, SB for stability ball, KB for kettlebell, DL for deadlift. So there are some easy items. So if you have questions, please see me and let me know, and I'm here to help you.